What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Awesome Show. Today we're looking at the Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse figures. So we have a lot of figures to look at here today. So first up, from new Eternia, we have the Battle Armor HeMan. As well, if we move it aside, we have Jitsu and Zodac. So all from new Eternia. So it's the figures where they have like newer, more modern designs, but yet if you kind of like take some of the clutter off, it makes them look like their classic designs. And I've really liked these figures in the past. So getting this HeMan here, so he'll look a little bit different from the HeMans we've already had. And then the Jitsu and Zodac are all hopefully going to be really cool. And like I said, have more of those classic looks to them. And then behind that, we have from Princess of Power, Catra. So one of the villains from Princess of Power, you know, going against She-Ra, we have Catra. And then for Masters in the Universe Revelation, we have Hero, which looks is really cool. So I'll have to talk about the backstory with him. So all of these figures look really cool. It's a nice big wave here of 5, just a bunch of random figures. Once again, we've just had a collection of them just kind of all stacking up that we need to look at here. So let me go and get these open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with the Battle Armor HeMan. So of course this is pretty much a recreation of the classic action figure HeMan with the Battle Armor just in the Masterverse version. But overall he looks pretty cool, and this is a part of the new Eternia line. And with all the past figures, you can pretty much sort of take off a bunch of the armor and stuff and make them look more like the classic figure. So you can kind of do that just by taking off this shoulder pauldron. So it gives you just the chest armor piece, but then you still have like the waist guard and everything there. But overall I still think he looks cool. It's got another different head. I like how they keep coming up with all these different heads for HeMan. This one does look different than all the others. His hair seems a little bit, of course it could just be the design of the hair, but it looks, I'd say, more greasy. So it's got like this middle part and then coming down. So it's still got like that bobbed haircut that HeMan has, where it's got the little like curve underneath, but it's a little bit shorter here in the front. So you can see like some of the strands coming down. And then he's got a bigger, bushier beard. So the blonde beard there even looks like he's got a scar there on the side of his face. So just looks pretty cool. And then of course with the eyes, which happens on a lot of these figures with the darkness, like the way it's designed, looks like they have eyeliner around. So makes them look a little bit more like emo. But overall I think the face design is good, just I'm not crazy about the hair too much. And then with a lot of these figures, it looks like they're always like looking down, so you got to try and readjust it, but then it doesn't always work as well. But just get his head to look up a little bit more. But then he has the pretty much normal HeMan body, and we've seen this body already with, I believe it was also new Eternia, but it was called like the Barbarian HeMan or whatever that we looked at a while ago. So it's pretty much that exact same body, but it's a little bit different. So of course he's got the armor to make that Battle Armor HeMan with the stuff to, you know, make it like the damage with the nice big H design there on his chest. But the all silver armor from the chest all the way down, coming down the sides of his thighs. The big shoulder pad here, which like I said, we can take this off if we want to make it look a little bit more normal, but nice brown strap holding that on. Then he's got some orange gauntlet pieces, so like the pieces they normally wear for HeMan, but this side he's got this big orange one that's got a hole in it that we can plug a shield into, so that's pretty cool. It's got a lion design in gold there around his waist. Of course still has like that loincloth design, and like I said, very similar to that other HeMan we've had. And then bare legs going down to the shoes, where he's still got the fur at the top, and then the leather straps all going around, and he has the holder there for a knife. So overall looks pretty cool. Like I said, it's just a combination of making that pretty much Barbarian HeMan looking like the old Battle Armor style with the old figure design. So overall he looks cool, but this would definitely not be a HeMan I would care too much for. But let's do his movement. So his head can twist all the way around, and he can look down that far and up that far. So not a whole lot of movement, just down because of his beard and up because of his hair in the back. So just a little back and forth. The shoulders can come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist, the double elbow, and I've had a lot of issue with the elbows on some of these figures. Like he's obviously not any issue, but the elbow joints, especially the lower ones, we have to heat up a lot. Like he wasn't bad because he came out of the box like the way he was put in the box, his elbows were already bent, so it was pretty much just moving them out. But all the others we've had to heat up and do actually some, I guess you'd say, some surgery with some plastic, like trying to scrape off some plastic to be able to get the elbows to bend on some of these figures. But then we get the wrist that can twist all the way around and flex back and forth. And for a lot of these figures, the flex doesn't move too much because the hands kind of go deep into the arm socket, so you don't get a whole lot of range with them. But then we have the ab crunch, and it's like the ball joint, so it just kind of floats around in there, so it can crunch back and forth and tilt side to side, and has just very little twisting, but you can't really twist it around, and if you move it, it just kind of goes back to the center. But it's nice like floating ball in there. And then we get the twist all the way around at the waist. The hips can come up a little, of course, with all the skirting and the armor and stuff can only get up a little, and then out to the side. We have a thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back. and then a shin twist at the top of the boot with the foot that flexes back and forth, a little bit stiff, but flex back and forth and twist side to side. So he's going to have the same movements. We'll pretty much see all the exact same movements with most of these figures today, especially all the male versions, but overall he's not bad. Doesn't have the best movements ever, but it's not horrible either. And like I said, with this you can kind of remove a bunch, so you can take this armor piece off, which we'll have to do to switch out the plate, and then seeing the belt around here on the back, you could pop it off to get rid of his waist armor. Of course, it'll make him then just look like that barbarian one, but like I said, you can get rid of some of the armor, so we can take like the shoulder piece off, slide it off, or undo the little buckle there to get it off. But I like how it just kind of goes up here and, like I said, adds sort of more design up to the shoulder, and it kind of clips on the little piece there, so it sort of stays in place. But the main function of this HeMan is of course the battle armor, so we got to undo that, and then we got to open up his chest plate. So you just pop it off. There's little clips here up on the side of the shoulder, so you just kind of clip on those and pop them off, and then you can pop his chest off. And I like how it's still got like all this mechanics and stuff, so like roboticness under there. But then we can go ahead and put the damaged chest plate on, so you just pop that back in and then take his chest plate and pop it right back on, so it sits on there like that. So now he's all damaged, and we can go and slide the armor piece back up there, and it helps kind of hold that in place. So now he's got damage on him, so now you can see he's been in a fight and stuff and has some damage there, so it makes him look a little bit cooler. Now accessory wise, comes with pretty much the same stuff that barbarian HeMan did, but first we get some hands. So we get an open like sort of flat hand, so more for like a shield hand or whatever, and a fist hand, so if you don't want the two grips. Then we get weapons. So first we have a little knife, so we have this little knife with the gold handle that we can stick down into the boot, again just like that barbarian HeMan had. And like the other ones, he does come with the axe and the sword, so we have the sword of power and then his axe that comes with a lot of HeMan. So two weapons there. I like how they have the matching hand grips with like the leather wrapped around the grip, so we can put both of these in his hands. So there he's got the axe and the sword, and the final item he comes with is a little shield. So we have the shield again with that H design on it, and then I like the colors of the blue, the red stripe, and then the green and black checkerboard design there. It's a little bit weird and sort of stands out, doesn't really match with all the HeMan stuff, but I do believe this was off an old box, so of one of the old toys and stuff, so I like that they have that design. And with this you can put it into his back, so he's got the hole in there, so you can take and just kind of stick this in the back, so if you want to store it back there, or we can take and just take the peg into the hole on here. So I like that he doesn't have to waste a whole hand, he can still hold both the weapons, and then you can still have a shield as well. So there is the shield on his arm. Of course, doesn't really do much for defending and stuff since it's kind of a really small shield, but overall I think he looks cool. Like I said, this is definitely not a HeMan I would prefer, just because I don't really care about the battle armor and stuff, but I still think overall he looks cool, adding the little design with the damage. The one had the little chest that you could like roll down from damage and not damage, and then that's pretty much like the barbarian one we've already had before, which speaking of, we can bring this in. And again, I don't know if it's barbarian, Viking, whatever you want to call it, whatever this HeMan is what I'm talking about, both from new Eternia. Like I said, they are going to be the exact same body design, just have a little bit different, like same loincloth and boot designs with the little knife and stuff, and then the head designs are different, but they both come with the sword and the axes as well. And then like I said, you can kind of modify them to make them look like the classic HeMan, especially more with this one. You can just take the shoulder pieces off, switch the head out, and it would be like a classic style HeMan, where this one has a little bit more like you can get rid of the shoulder piece and the thigh pieces, but you still have the whole center section there to deal with. But anyway, it's still pretty cool. Like I said, I much prefer this version of HeMan more compared to this one, but I don't think this one is bad at all, just if you want to have that classic battle armor design for a modern HeMan. And then we've got Jitsu from New Eternia as well, which originally was an evil warrior martial artist that had a gold right hand that performed strong karate chops, but he's also a master swordsman. And now, according to the back of the box, he has turned good, and he's now joined up with the Masters of the Universe. So originally it was kind of designed as a counterpart to Fisto, since Fisto had the big metal hand. He's got now this gold karate chop hand, which looks pretty cool. So it's just for this, especially it's like a vac metal, so it's like a really thin, lightweight plastic. So unlike Fisto that almost felt like metal, this one just feels like really lightweight plastic, all in gold, so it's nice and shiny there, which is cool, and has pretty cool designs with all gold designs to it. So he's a master martial artist, so he's gonna have that Asian design. We especially like how he's got the bald head with the long like ponytail, so where it goes back and then folded back forward. I think that looks cool. And then the beard design as well, again making him look a little bit more modern style. And then he's got the chest plate with the all orange and gold, looks pretty cool, some like orange jewels laid in through there as well. Very cool design, almost looks like some bug legs going off there, so looks pretty cool overall. I just like that design. On this other arm, he's got a little guard there in orange as well. Rope belt going around his waist, so that's pretty cool. Rope belt where he's got a little holder for his sword there, and then the clasps in the back, so you can obviously take this off to make him look a little more classic. And then more orange armor going down on his thighs with the black fur underneath, so he's got the classic belt design with black fur. Bare legs go down to the black boots again with the fur up top and all leather underneath, so just like all the other master figures. So overall I think he looks pretty cool. Like I said, it's the new Eternia, so I assume he'd probably take off some of his armor to make it look like that classic Jitsu design. So pretty much just pop off his belt piece here and you'd have that classic version. So once again, I like that modern update to the classic style of Jitsu, but overall he's pretty much going to be exactly the same. So we'll do that. So the head can twist all the way around. You look down that far and up that far. So a little bit better than that HeMan was, but still a little bit weird. And again, his head's already still like kind of looking down a little bit too much. So they need to like adjust the joint, like back it up a little bit so they're not looking down. Shoulders can come up to 90 and rotate around. We get a bicep twist, the double elbow joint that can bend up that far, so over 90. And then for him, he's got the wrist twist around, so up in here like a forearm twist that twists all the way around. And then of course with his normal hand, he does also have the wrist that can twist around and flex. But of course with these guards on him, like a lot of the figures have these and it just gets in the way, but you can twist around and flex back and forth. I assume he has an ab crunch and stuff up in there, but with this big chest plate, he doesn't really move too much, but he can twist all the way around at the waist. His hips can come up a little and out to the side there. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint to the back, that goes about that far. Shin twist at the top of the boot and the foot flex back and forth and twist side to side. So besides the hand and then the chest plate cover him up, he has pretty much the exact same movements as that HeMan. But accessory wise, doesn't really come with much. He comes with an extra hand, so the open flat palm hand to go with his grip hand there. And then he does have a face match, which is cool, which is so kind of like a newer updated thing. So this we can slide onto his head. You got to get over his ponytail and then you can slide this down onto his face. So it sits on his face like that. So again, another just nice little detail to modernize it and increase and make him look maybe a little bit more mean with the orange mask with the big teeth and everything. So he's supposed to be nicer now, but he's got a creepy looking mask to go along with it. And then he also has his sword, so much like the classic one, pretty much all orange sword, but has a little bit of gold on the details there. So with this, we can slide it into the sheath. So you just slide it in there. So it's nice storage place, or we can put it into his other hand. So there's Jitsu with his sword and ready to chop with his hand. So overall, that looks pretty cool. And as I mentioned, if you want to make him the more classic style, obviously get rid of the mask. And then we can also take the belt off. So I assume you just pop this off. So just undo the little buckle there and remove that. And that's pretty much your classic Jitsu. He did have orange on his waist piece down here, which this one doesn't. But then that there is pretty much the classic Jitsu right there. So it doesn't take too much to make him look like that classic style. But we can put the belt back on. And there we have Jitsu. So overall, I think he's pretty cool. Like I said, movements are kind of boring on these because they're all pretty much exactly the same. But I think he looks cool. And again, I like the new Eternia stuff. So you can have a modern style or the classic if you prefer. But either way, I think he looks awesome for Jitsu here. And next up we have Zodac, again from the new Eternia line, and he was a cosmic enforcer that is a neutral between good and evil to maintain peace in the universe. But of course, through like the old show, he always tended to be and interact with the Masters since, you know, he's trying to give the balance, so he's mostly being on the Master side of stuff. But overall, he looks pretty cool. So he's like a futuristic cosmic guy, so he's a little bit weird, especially with the head, like the helmet design. So you can see his mouth in there, but then he's got this big helmet design, a very futuristic design. So mostly all red with some gray details, some gray here in the front with the sides that come up that almost look like little ears or fins or something, and then the big black eyes in there. So looks a little bit weird. Not sure if he's got an actual head under there or not, or if that's just like his species or whatever, but I like the look of it. It looks dorky but cool at the same time. And then we get the chest armor. We've seen stuff like this before, especially with the origin figures on like Wonder Man, but that outfit design in red with like the little W design or whatever on there. He's got some shoulder armor, which is a part of the new design for him, and that goes down. He's got like a belt around the waist with a thigh holster that goes down and attaches onto the thigh with straps on there and can hold his gun. So that's pretty cool. And then the normal stuff of the waist, so the belt design with the fur, but he has an extra little flat piece hanging down on there. And then down to the feet where he has more of like the Skeletor feet design with the 3-toe claws there. That look pretty cool in this darker gray color that match with the underwear. So overall, I think he looks cool. You know, I don't think I've looked at this figure yet in the origin, so this is my first time seeing Zodac. And overall, I think he looks cool. It's a neat, interesting design, and you know, a guy that, like I said, serves as a neutral, so not really on either side technically, but I think he looks pretty cool and an awesome design that'll stand out on a shelf. Oh, and I also did want to point out, not that we've seen it yet, but he does have like the Stratos chest design, so it's got all like the furry design there on his chest, as well as like the little fin things there on his arms and stuff, so did want to point that out. But again, with movements going to be pretty much the same, so the head twist all the way around, look down that far and up that far, so it looks like maybe it has a little bit better movements. The shoulders can come up to 90 and rotate around. Of course, we do have these shoulder pieces, but you can easily just move them out of the way to get it to rotate around. And the bicep twist, Then we can move the shoulder piece back. We get the double elbow joint that can bend up at least that far there. It seems like the lower may have, still be really stiff and I can't really get it to move. But the wrist can then twist all the way around and flex back and forth. He has the upper ab crunch, so again, the one where you can crunch back and forth a little and sort of like swirl around in there. Then he should be able to twist all the way around at the waist. I feel he's really stiff when we have some issues. And then of course with his outfit, it'd be hard to get him to twist all the way around anyways. But the legs can come up a little. Of course with the thigh holster, it gets in the way. So let's do this leg so it can come up a little and out to the side, thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, very close to kicking his butt. Shin twist around in the boot, and then the foot flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So overall, he's not bad. He does have the issues with the elbows. Again, I can't get the one elbow loose, and then he doesn't twist at the waist either, so don't know if he just doesn't do that or if it's stuck. And then the issue with like moving the thigh is this whole thigh holster, and unfortunately it keeps coming undone, and that's one thing I hate about these claps on the HeMan figures is that like once you undo it, it's almost impossible to get them to go back, and so it came undone when trying to move the leg originally, and now it keeps coming undone. So the strap just keeps falling out, and then it's same up here. If you can see that, it's falling out here as well. So although he has all those issues, I do like the look of him at least. But for accessories, he comes with some additional hands, so we get 2 fist hands to go along with his grip hands. And for weapons, first we get his gun, so kind of like the classic Zodac gun, especially from the original figures with that design. So the nice little like futuristic gun design. So we can put this into his hand, so you can slide it in his hand there, and he's got kind of like the trigger finger there with the finger sticking out, so you can have that into his hand, or we can put it into the holster here, so you just kind of slide it in here. And I don't know if it goes in any certain way, but I just kind of got it to fit in there like that, so it can stick into his thigh holster there, which is cool. And then he also came with a staff, so he has the staff with sort of like his gun design on each end of it, so that's pretty cool. So we can put this into his hand, or you can separate it out into club designs, which is cool. So let's put these in his hand. So now Zodac has 2 clubs, which is pretty cool. And again, with him being a part of the new Eternia line, you can do some modifications to make him look more classic. So what the easiest thing to do is get rid of his shoulder pads. So he has these shoulder pads that just go into the little clips back here, so you can just pull them out to get rid of those. So that's pretty much the easiest thing there. And the only thing you could do to make him more classic is to get rid of the thigh holster, which is a little more difficult. So as you saw, it came undone, so you can easily undo it, off of his leg. And then you can undo the strap here as well and just completely remove it. So it just comes undone off of the belt, so you can slide it off there and then maybe try to get this back on. And again, I hate these straps because they don't hold too well. So there we have classic Zodac now. So pretty much looks like the classic with just the more modern design. He still has this little flap in the front, but that's really not too much to have to worry about. But there we pretty much have classic Zodac now, which is pretty cool. You just have to put the gun in his hand, which we can do. And we can now take the clubs and kind of store them back here, so you can store them on his back like that, which is pretty cool. So I like that you have that storage space now. And again, you can take the gun and put this back in his hand. So there we can have Zodac with the gun and one of the clubs. And overall, I think he looks pretty cool there again with that more classic design now with all the additional armor pieces taken off. So overall, I think that looks pretty cool. But that's the cool thing about the new Eternia. You can do that modern design with all the extra armor or make him look more classic. Overall, pretty cool there for Zodac. And next up, we've got Catra from Princess of Power, which is a minion of Hordak, but was originally intended to be the main villain for She-Ra. But when Hordak wasn't able to be introduced into the HeMan series and they brought him over to She-Ra, Catra kind of got stepped down, and she served Hordak only to gain more power for herself. And at one point, Hordak gave her the mask from the Magic Cat Queen that transforms her, so that's the mask she has up there. And she has various powers such as freeze fire and teleportation with that mask. So overall, she looks pretty cool here, and pretty much just like She-Ra. She's just like a modified version of She-Ra, but same body and everything. But overall, it looks cool. I like her design much more, and like I feel she functions much better. So we have her face there, so they try to make her look evil with the big pointy eyebrows and everything, but has the red lipstick on there. And overall, looks good with that cat mask that has a little bit of movement back and forth, just a little bit of shaking there. But that red cat mask with the green eyes is cool. And then her hair up in the ponytail, and she has the long black hair that looks really nice and sits nice on her back. Then she has the cape, so she has the purple cape, so purple fabric there with the red color piece that's up there on her neck with the little like flares out, which is kind of cool. Kind of floats there, but it doesn't really move too much out of the way, so it kind of sits pretty nice. Then she's got the all red dress that has the Hordak logo there on it. It's a little bat head with designs there. Same with the belt, so she has a thin red belt there with the Hordak logo. Then some gauntlets on the side with some just like red arrow designs, and I like that her fingernails are painted black, so that's pretty cool. And then from that dress, bare legs down to the boots where she has like the little red arrow designs once again, and pretty much the exact same boots as She-Ra. So overall, like I said, They pretty much just took She-Ra and redesigned her much like they did with the He-Man figures, but did it for She-Ra now. And overall, like I said, though, I feel she works a little bit better and kind of looks a little bit better. The She-Ra just looked a little bit off with the design they did for her, but I think she fits pretty perfectly all together. But she is a female, so she will have a little bit different movements, so let's go and do that. So the head can twist around. Of course, you can get it all the way around. You have to just kind of work around the collar and her hair around the shoulders, so you can get it all the way around there. And then she can look down a little bit and up just pretty much straight on because of the hair, but a little bit of rocking back and forth. The shoulders come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get the bicep twist, the double elbow joint that can bend up that far, so almost all the way up on itself. May have to adjust it a little bit there. And the wrist can twist around and flex back and forth. Then we have that crunch twist right under her chest, so she can crunch back and forth. Not much, but does crunch there and can twist a little side to side. Not too much though, and it's like the male figures, they doesn't really stay. The hips can come up a little. Again, the dress is sort of in the way, so you only get about 45 there, and out to the side, closer to doing like the splits, but the thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint, that's pretty stiff, but can bend up that far to the back. Again, pretty close to kicking her butt. She has a shin twist down in the boot, and then the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So still pretty similar to the males overall, just a little bit modified, and the thinnest for the females. And overall, like I said, there's just something about her that I feel she works much better, like body design wise and stuff altogether. But for accessories, she comes with some stuff. So she has hands, I was gonna say in like grip hands already, but I guess they're claw hands with their fingers like this, since she, has like the cat powers and stuff. So more like claw hands, but she comes with additional hands that are grip hands. And again, I like the painted fingernails on her. And for weapons, we get a shield, so a shield with the big cat head on it and the jewel in the center. So this one just has a clear jewel color, and She-Ra, had the blue one, so we can put this on her arm. So there's the shield on her arm, and I went ahead and switched the other hand out for her scepter. So she has the scepter as well, which I didn't see anything about it in researching her, so I don't know what this does, any sort of powers and stuff, but it looks pretty cool. It's just this all silver scepter with the green jewel at the end, so the bright green color that matches with the cat eyes there. So let's put this in her other hand. So there's Catra, and with her having the scepter and stuff, reminds me a lot of Evelyn, but we can bring She-Ra in here so we can have the two face off. And like I said, body wise, they're pretty much the exact same figure, just modified. Even like the boots and stuff are the same there, but there we can have both figures, and again, ready to face off with each other, much like they did in the Princess of Power show. But both are pretty cool, and like I said, I do really like this Catra a lot, especially body wise and stuff. She just fits out a lot nicer than that She-Ra did. And our final figure is Hero from Masters of the Universe Revelation. Now there's a lot of like different stories and stuff for Hero, so I didn't really know which one to go with, so I just tried to read the back of his box and kind of go off that. But his name is just Ro, and he was given the Sword of Life by the overlords of Trolla and was sent through a vortex to Eternia, where he swore to free Eternia from the Snake Men and the Horde, and fought alongside King Grayskull. And eventually, when he was going to die, he left his sword to King Grayskull. So overall, he looks pretty cool here. So he's supposed to be, like an ancient warrior type guy, like a prehistory warrior, so probably from like Preternians. But overall, he looks cool, very similar to He-Man, big muscly body and stuff, and it has like the superpowers. But overall, he looks cool, and again, this is based off his revelation, so how he appeared in the show, so that design. But overall, looks cool. So he has the shorter brown hair, so I like how he has some strands of hair coming over his headband there, but still the shorter brown hair, so it's not the longer hair like He-Man. And again, the eye design looks like he has eyeshadow around his eyes, but the headband looks cool with that red jewel in it. He's got the all gold armor, so down his chest, and again has like sort of like the H design there with the cape hanging off the back, so just a nice red cape, once again fabric cape piece. Down his arms, got some guards, so it's some nice silver and blue colors with the leather strap design. And then he's got the underwear piece where his looks different, nice red and blue color with a little bit of silver in there, so it's not the fur like we see with He-Man. And then bare legs down to the boots, where he's got these big chunky boots, mostly all gold with blue details there, that look pretty cool and just a little bit different designing from what we've seen normally. But overall, I think he does look really cool. Just wish his eyes looked a little bit different, so it's not like he's wearing guy liner. But let's try his movements. Pretty much going to be the same though, but they can twist all the way around, can look down and look up, so yeah, not the best movements there. Shoulders up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist, the double elbow joint that can bend about that far, it looks like, so yeah, 90, with the wrist that can twist around, and again has this guard piece that just kind of floats around and gets in the way, but it can also flex back and forth. Then we have the upright crunch, so again the floating crunch, so crunch back and forth and twist a little side to side, but mostly just the ball maneuver around. And then we get the twist all the way around at the waist. The hips can come up that far and out to the side. Ooh, not far from doing the splits. He's got a thigh twist all the way around, double knee joint that bends that far to the back, shin twist at the top of the boot, and then the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So not bad movements, doesn't have any stuck joints or anything, it didn't seem like. So overall, not bad. Again, he just has the issue with his head keeps looking down. But for accessories, he comes with some additional hands, so he has the flat hand again like for shields and stuff, but he doesn't come with any, and then a fist hand as well. And then he has his scepter, which I couldn't figure out what this does either. It looks really cool. This is all gold scepter. So it has a hand grip here with the nice guard piece, and then it goes up to like this ball design up top, which is pretty cool that it opens up, so you can open up and fold these pieces down so it reveals this green ball. So let's fold all these down, and then you have that design there, so it can be like this cool thing that shoots off powers or lasers or whatever it does. Like I said, I couldn't figure out what it does, but it looks really cool. So let's put this in his hand. So here is Hero with that scepter, and overall it's a big giant scepter thing. Again, I don't know exactly what it does, but it does look really cool, and him holding it does look awesome. So overall, pretty cool for this figure. I think it looks pretty cool. You know, his design stuff, you know, not a figure we get too often, and then having this big scepter thing, that looks pretty cool. And I wish I knew what it does, because I assume it'd make him even cooler, but overall looks pretty cool and not a bad figure. Like I've kind of said in the past, and with all these figures for the males, they could do a little bit better, just like with the overall body design and like figuring out the head so they're not looking down most of the time. But overall, they're not horrible figures. They're pretty decent overall, I must say, and give a lot of cool designs. So Hero's another one that fits into that category. Well, that's going to be it for this Masters of the Universe Masterverse wave, where we had 5 new figures that I feel are pretty cool. From the new Eternia line, we got Battle Armor HeMan, Jitsu, and Zodac. Again, I like all their designs and how you can modify them to look like the classic figures, so like that with the new Eternia. I hope we continue to get more of those figures. And then from Princess of Power, we got Catra, and from Revelations, we got Hero. So all of these figures are pretty cool, all pretty unique. Of course, all the men have relatively the exact same body design, so not unique there, but overall their designs specifically for each one are pretty cool and unique. And overall, I really like these figures. Like I said, there could be a little like tooling modifications to the bodies to get them to work a little bit better, but overall design wise and stuff, I think they're doing a really good job with the Masterverse, and I relatively enjoy dealing with each of these figures. So let me know what you thought of them down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.